And welcome back to Livingston Parish News Weekly Show, a podcast brought to you by the Livingston Parish News. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news, and this is Around Livingston. It's where I sit down with this gentleman and we talk about, you guessed it, what's going on around Livingston. So I'm going to give him a second to introduce himself. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. This is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
And plenty to talk about today, as we mentioned. We've been working on this room, as David said when he came in. Wow, it's a lot brighter in here.
Yes.
Which it is. But we have a better footage, better camera angles, and that kind of thing. And we're still going to be doing some more stuff, but for the time being, we're good to go to start recording again. But as mentioned, been a couple of weeks, plenty of big stories to talk about. We're not going to keep y'all too long, but we're going to start off with, of course, there's an election coming up here pretty soon. Early voting starts.
It already started.
Already started.
We started on Saturday. Yes.
We are in the midst of early voting, so it will run through
this Saturday, March 18th. Started March 11th, and we'll run through March 18th. Only missed that one Sunday, and polls are open from 8:30 to 6 at two locations. We wrote about it last year. The Livingston Parish Register of Voters. They moved their office to Government Boulevard. They're part of the tax assessor's office now. And then that's one early voting location, and then the other one is the Denham Springs Walker Library on Highway 190. And this is a pretty, most of the time March or spring elections are, you might have one small item on there, but there's a couple big ones on the ballot this time. I guess we just get into it. The parish-wide, there's one parish-wide item is a 1-cent sales tax for the Livingston Parish school system. This has been talked about for months now, ever since the school board activated their EFID board, which is they basically are proposing this tax to fund teacher salary and benefit increases. Livingston Parish has lagged behind for its employees' salaries and benefits, and it's kind of become more apparent the last few years, especially after COVID. And so this is a way that school leaders are hoping can tilt the scales back in their favor. So this is what they're hoping, that if this were to pass, the average pay for Livingston Parish teachers and school teachers employees would go up in the 6 parish region. But if it doesn't pass, then it'll stay at the bottom. And there's not really they're not really looking to, if it doesn't pass right now, they're trying to let people know what happens if it does pass. But like I said, that's the big item. Then in District 5 for the Livingston Parish Council, you have a race between Aaron Sandifer and Adam Couture. Aaron Sandifer, is the current board member. She's filling out the rest of Bubba Harris's seat. He resigned last year due to health issues. And so this is now the race to fill out the remainder of that term, which runs to the end of 2023. And then there's also a sales tax in the village of Killian. So those are your 3 items. Quick rundown.
Yeah, that and plenty going on. So you've got a tax proposal in Killian, a parish-wide tax proposal, and then also what has turned into a contentious race for that District 5 seat, which is areas south of Denham Springs. Yes. Getting into some other business, I guess you can call it. As part of what's going on almost nationwide, I guess you can say, with library systems. Louisiana is not immune, and there has been some back and forth going on, but that is not really the whole reason. But the library director here in Livingston Parish, Mr. Giovanni Tyroff, has elected to resign his position, and he is moving to I believe a research position at Louisiana State University. So tell us a little bit about what he talked to you about.
Yeah, no, he just, this Mr. Giovanni has been the Livingston Parish Library Director since 2010. He was an assistant director for that for a couple years, but he announced earlier this month that he was resigning. He sent a letter to the Library Board of Control members announcing that resignation. And this comes as the library kind of talked about a little bit. There's been a lot of the library has been at the center of a big debate about what content is available to minors, particularly in public libraries. There's been many officials and parents who have argued that there are some sexually explicit materials available to minors that they can access it very easily, and there's been opponents to that saying that there aren't any they push back against the notion that there's pornography available to children in libraries. Now, Mr. Giovanni said that that's not the reason why he was resigning. He mentioned that he was ready to move into a different direction with his career. It actually goes along with an MBA that he recently received in public research from LSU. So it's kind of something that he said he's been looking to do anyway, and it just comes amid this big debate for the parish's library system. But Mr. Giovanni definitely left a mark in Livingston Parish. They have nearly 100,000 card holders. They've expanded branches. They've added computer labs. All the library system or branches now have Wi-Fi that extends out to the parking lots. They've eliminated late fees. All the technological advances, such as the virtual reality lab at the Dim Springs Walker branch. So I mean, he definitely left a mark. In 2019, he was named the State Library Director of the Year. That just kind of shows what his peers thought of him. So I know there's a lot of people who would definitely be missing Mr. Giovanni as director of the Livingston Parish Library System.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see where the library system goes from here. There are certain qualifications that must be met to be a director of a library system. So I'm sure, I would hope that they're in the middle of that search.
Yeah, I believe it will come up at the next library board meeting, which is a week from well, this is Wednesday, so next Tuesday, whatever that date is, the 20th, who knows? But no, I think that will come up at the library board's next meeting. They'll have to appoint an interim director while they commence a search for a new permanent director.
And so that'd be the 21st.
Okay, there you go. I'll be there. That's all I know.
Well, it's sure to be an interesting meeting. Moving on, the school board finds themselves amid a bit of controversy and a lawsuit stemming from Doyle High School. So tell us about everything that's going on with that.
Yeah, there was a lawsuit that was filed earlier this month, I believe. I can't remember the exact date it was filed, but the parents of a former Doyle High student filed a lawsuit against the school board, Doyle High baseball coach, and the parent of another former student, alleging that their child was well, I'm trying to look for the right term that they use, was the victim of an unwanted sexual advance during a road trip last year. This road trip occurred in Southwest Louisiana, DeQuincy, Louisiana. During a road trip, two teammates were staying the night in the same room together, and then apparently one of the other teammates, allegedly, made this unwanted sexual advance. And school board, obviously, they never comment on pending litigation. That was what was said. But I guess what makes this case gives it a little bit more attention is the accused party in this, Mr. Carson Jones, a former Doyle High student and baseball player. He is connected to a suspect in the Madison Brooks case. Now, he is not connected to the Madison Brooks case at LSU. He is connected to a suspect who is also in that case. So that's what made this story get a little bit more attention, was the fact that his connection with through multiple channels, that case. But yeah, so that's really the update on that. Like I said, the school system, they generally don't comment on pending litigation. That was their comment to me whenever I asked them about it.
Sure. So going to be interesting to see where that goes, how far it goes. Last but certainly not least, and we told you guys we're going to be hitting some high points and getting you out of here. We have, I wouldn't call it a verdict, but we have reached a conclusion for now in the Baglio case. He is the former, I guess, he is now deceased Elvis impersonator who traveled around Livingston Parish and places abroad, basically to put on his act as Elvis. There was a murder situation involving his stepson. That trial has, I guess, I don't really know how to put it. Because
likely will not happen.
Okay, so why don't you tell us about? They've been going through trial for a few days. It wrapped up on Monday. Tell us what happened.
No, so Trace Pygott, he was the defendant in this case. It was in 2021, I believe Mother's Day weekend, I want to say. Police said that his biological father traveled to his stepfather's house, which is Jason Baglio, and Michelle Baglio's house, that is Trace's biological mother, traveled there. There was an argument, and then Trace fatally shot Mr. Baglio multiple times and then fled. Him and his biological father, they both fled the scene, and they were found separately in New Orleans a couple days after, or within the next 2 days, and then transferred over to Livingston Parish eventually. Trace Pygott has a history of mental illness, according to his public defender, and that led to a very lengthy process to determine his mental competency to stand trial. And last week, Judge Brenda Ricks officially ruled, after testimony from 2 expert doctors who have worked with Trace. He has currently been in a mental health facility in Jackson since, I believe, September of 2021. So yeah, well over a year, and I believe, a year and a half now, he's been in that mental health facility, and they both testified that he was mentally incompetent to stand trial. And the judge went with their ruling. So he will now be evaluated once every 6 months, I believe, for the next 2 years, and then they will make a further determination after that. But it does not look like, for the foreseeable future and possibly ever, that he'll actually be presented, the traditional trial for second-degree murder, which is what he is charged with.
So I believe there was a follow-up hearing set for April, mid-April.
Yeah, mid-April to, I guess, finalize that ruling, and then, like I said, it'll be the next 2 years that he'll still be in that mental health facility, and there will be regular, and that's pretty much what it's been for the last, which is why there hasn't been much to report on. I mean, there's been hearings once every 3 or 4 months, I believe. So, I mean, it's been going on, but basically it's been just kind of status hearings that are lumped in there with other other things on the docket, and it's been about 5 to 10 minute discussions, and then that's it. This was the most significant one, and Trace actually appeared in court this time. This is the first time I've seen him appear in court. Not to say he hasn't appeared other times, but I can't remember finding another one where it said that he was physically present in court. But yeah, so 2 years now, he should get a final determination on whether or not he is competent to stand trial.
Sure, and otherwise he will stay in the facility he is in, correct?
Yeah, yes, from my understanding.
Okay. All right, well, thank you, sir. It's good to catch up.
Yeah. One other thing, we got St. Patty's Day parade this weekend.
God, yes.
If people just want to know, they Denham City Council last night, they politely asked me to remind people that is the regular Denham Parade route. Means it starts at Denham Springs High School, goes down Range Avenue through the Antique Village, and ends at Veterans Boulevard. So that parade starts at 5, I believe. So if you are trying to travel through Denham Springs around that time, Saturday evening, just be on the lookout for that you will be stopped for a long time if you try to go down Highway 190 from basically 4:30-ish until, I guess, whatever time it would end at 6 or so. I haven't heard how many floats they have in this one. The last 2 Denham parades, the Christmas and the Mardi Gras parade, have been the longest ones I've seen. So stands a reason that this one could follow suit. But like I said, this is the first ever St. Patty's Day parade, so we'll see how the turnout is for that.
Sure, and we have sprung forward, so there's plenty of time for it. And I believe they scheduled it like that so it wouldn't interfere with the Baton Rouge parade, which starts at 10.
Okay, there you go.
And usually goes till about 2. So going to be interesting to see what kind of crowd they get, and like you said, how long the parade is. But thank you for that reminder. And if you'll introduce yourself, please, sir.
Hey, this is David Gray, news writer with the Livingston Parish News.
And my name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you guys for joining us for the Livingston Parish News Weekly Show. This is Around Livingston, where I discuss with David what's going on around Livingston. Oh, what a name. Please remember the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are once a week in print on Thursdays at $7 a month to get that in your mailbox. We're also online, www.livingstonparishnews.com. Thanks for joining us. We're back on track, and we will see you next time.